Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Guilty on all counts in the deaths of George Floyd.
That's the jury's verdict in the case of former police officer Derek Chauvin. If you were just tuning in, let's get you caught up here at 6 as we recap the jury's decision in this case that so many all over the world have been watching.
It only took about 10 hours, split between 2 days, for a verdict in the death of George Floyd. The jury found the former Minneapolis officer guilty of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. The judge revoked bail and Chauvin was taken into custody after the verdict. Sentencing will take place 8 weeks from now. Chauvin faces up to 40 years in prison. President Biden is expected to address the nation this evening in the aftermath of today's verdict. This, of course, is a case that's deeply affected a great many people, and the reaction has indeed been emotional.
Our Paula Tutman live now with more on what she's been hearing from local leaders and others on these verdicts. Guilty on all counts, Paula.
Yeah, that's right. I've been talking to religious leaders, thought leaders, leaders in law enforcement. And remember that this isn't something that happened way over there in Minneapolis. This was also a part of our community. We had protests. We have people saying that, listen, there needs to be change. And there was a lot of stress and strain. I talked to Bishop Bonnie Perry, who's the bishop of the Episcopal Diocese here, just before the verdict came in, and she was nervous and emotional. She said, you know what, I don't know if they're going to get this right. I don't know if they're going to get this right. And then, lo and behold, the verdict came in, guilty on all counts. And what we're hearing is a sense of relief that this is an accounting and this is just.
You know, Americans can take a sigh of relief because I could not imagine what would happen if this officer walked totally free today. I mean, we've gone through so many of these instances where our eyes tell us one thing, but the jury says something different. So I think it was deserving. I was just sharing with a friend of mine here in Atlanta. What got me is how nonchalant he was with his knee on that man's neck for 9+ minutes. Not even moving, not even flinching, not even batting an eye.
It wasn't good policing, and this just, kind of reinforces of what our profession is, some of the things that we need to fix. And, what we also have to look at is, again, there was other officers around there. There are times when, officers, whatever the issue may be, get involved in something and maybe taking it a little too far. Well, there's individuals that are around there that need to step in, and this thing wouldn't have happened.
And I heard the words, guilty, guilty, guilty. My heart says yes, yes, yes. Finally, we can lean and look toward our judicial system and our Constitution to uphold the sanctity of life, that this country on record today respected African-American life in the hands of someone who's hold a seat of authority and took matters into his own hands. And today, our community can be at rest as far as protests, as far as any civil unrest. We can now look toward more strategy and using wisdom and peace and calm to make sure all the laws and policies are changed to protect our people.
As I said, I've been talking to leaders ever since that verdict came in from all walks of life and all professions. Not a single person I spoke to today said that they believe in defunding or depolicing or any non-policing anything, but they do say that there is work, that while this verdict may work, there is still more work to be done, and that includes training and better policing, but they believe that this is a step in the right direction, and that is across the board from everyone I've spoken to for the last, less than an hour or so, but, running people through, talking to them, getting their reactions. And like I said, everyone says this is a just decision, but it's not just over just yet. Guys?
Yeah, justice is indeed a practice, not an end. Paula, we appreciate it very much. And we just spoke with Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy to get her reaction to the verdict and what it means for policing in the United States. Listen.
this time, at this moment, I think this verdict is going to change the world. It's going to change the way that we look at policing. But most importantly, and I think that this cannot be overstated, this is about one police officer. I liked that argument that the prosecution made. This is not putting police on trial. This is putting not following the rules on trial. This is putting not following the training on trial. This is putting a bad police officer on trial. And I really hope that this case turns the tide.
Coverage of today's verdict in the Derek Chauvin murder trial continues less than 30 minutes from now. More from Lester Holt and NBC Nightly News, so keep it right here on Local 4. Now, we've got other breaking news that we're following here, and this is from Detroit's east side, where a police officer has been shot.
Yeah, this all happened this afternoon on Hannah Street. It's near 8 Mile and I-75. We're told officers had some sort of confrontation with a suspect. Shots were fired and an officer was hit, possibly in the hand. That officer was rushed to the hospital. He is expected to be okay. Sources tell Local 4 the suspect died from his injuries. Stay with Local 4 and click on Detroit.com for more updates. All right, a cold day with some light snowfall already these past few hours, and there's more to come as we head into the evening.
Ben is tracking some unseasonable weather for us, but you told us it was coming, and Ben, fortunately, it's been snowing for quite a while, but not adding up to much.
Yeah, its bark is definitely worse than its bite here, guys, and those flakes, obviously, if this was happening in winter, we'd start running for those shovels pretty quick, but that's not going to be the case tonight. Even though this is going to start accumulating now that air temperatures are starting to move down below 32. Most of this stuff is light as of right now. Metro Airport reporting some moderate to heavy snow, and we will see pockets of that. Some snow squalls have already dropped visibilities down below half a mile, and you can see those air temperatures 32. A little bit warmer here. Some of these places have actually come up a degree or two. Pontiac at 33, City Airport at 34. Yes, there will be accumulation. We're going to keep the 3-inch totals south of us, but still could see 1 to 2. And coming up, we'll talk about who gets what out of this. Should be done with this before the sun comes up tomorrow morning. The cold's going to last longer, though. Freeze warnings in effect tonight through Thursday, and we'll talk all of it in just a few minutes. Guys?
Okay, Ben, and with the snow continuing overnight, make sure you wake up with Local 4 News today, the only station in town with 2 meteorologists in the morning. Brandon Rue and Paul Gross will have the updated forecast, and Kim DeJulio will be watching the roads beginning at 4:30 a.m.
All right, well, it's a story the Local 4 defenders broke that shocked the city. Adults get out of a house fire on the city's east side, and they did not tell firefighters that a baby was still inside that home. Tonight, family members of the adopted mother, who firefighters say told them everyone was out of the home, are speaking out, and Sean, they are outraged over what happened.
Kimberly, I'm going to repeat just what you said. We're talking about family members of the woman who was there standing with firefighters saying everyone was out of that home when indeed an 18-month-old baby was still in that home. Her own family members are saying she should have been arrested at the scene. Other adults should have been arrested right there. The Local 4 defenders showing you the shocking incident April 5th, a house fire. An adoptive mother telling firefighters everybody got out. But firefighter LaVon Williams found an 18-month-old baby inside the home.
I'm a father. I have a 3-year-old. It just stunned me. I couldn't believe it, honestly. And I just grabbed her. I kind of felt like a father at that moment.
How and why would adults who got out of that house fire not tell firefighters a baby was inside? That sister of the adoptive mother wants to know.
Because there's no way in the world you're going to let a baby burn, not say anything. Send the firefighters downstairs on purpose, knowing a baby is upstairs on the first floor, the main floor, the house is filled with thick black smoke.
We aren't identifying these upset family members. We are not identifying the baby because CPS is involved. And when the baby was pulled from that fire, she had black eyes and bruises all over her, a possible victim of abuse.
I don't even understand how any of them was able to walk away. If they was in a house and they knew that it was a baby in there, they all should be held accountable.
This is the adoptive mother's cousin. So glad Detroit firefighters searched over every inch of that burning home.
Thank you for everything, because without them, we would never have. I'm so glad that this situation is getting handled and everything is out there. There's no more secrets. Don't have to suffer.
We're beeping out the baby's name. The baby bruised and battered, but doing much better tonight and saved by those Detroit firefighters. Look, we could still see arrests here. Talk to Detroit police late today. They said they're investigating every angle of this, and they're not done with that investigation quite yet. Kimberly, back to you.
Yeah, okay. Sean, thank you.
Let's look at today's COVID numbers. Michigan reporting 5,259 new cases and 85 additional deaths today. That is the lowest single number of new cases in 2 weeks. On the vaccine front, more than 3 in 10 Michiganders are now fully vaccinated. Information is key to getting the vaccines and those still thinking about it. Dr. Frank McGeorge back to answer some more viewer vaccine questions that have come in through clickondetroit.com. Doc?
Yeah, Devin. So Liz asks, at this point in time, is there any information on which vaccine, Pfizer or Moderna, may possibly be more effective in people between the ages of 28 and 38 years old? So Liz, based on the study data, both vaccines are considered to be equally effective across all age groups. Notably, though, the Pfizer vaccine is authorized down to age 16. Here are some more of your Janet asks, I have a family member that is sending out information regarding the vaccine being made from aborted fetuses. This concerns me. While I respect a decision not to get vaccinated, I am also concerned about the information as being true or false. The Pfizer and Moderna mRNA vaccines are not made using any fetal cell lines, and in particular, the Catholic Church has been very clear that these vaccines are not in any ethical conflict with church doctrine. Now, with regard to the single-dose adenovirus vector Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the production does use fetal cell lines, and guidance from the Catholic Church is that this vaccine is acceptable if there is no alternative available. It might also help to understand that while fetal cell lines may have been used to manufacture the J&J vaccine, it does not contain any fetal cells from aborted tissue. Now, another viewer writes, I understand Pfizer is coming out with a booster at a year. What is the reason we need a booster after a year? It hasn't been definitively concluded that a booster will be necessary, but the Pfizer CEO did suggest it might. Now, the logic behind a booster is twofold. First, we don't know how long our immunity from the first vaccine doses will last. It is possible that it might be extremely long-lasting, or it might turn out to decrease significantly in time. The other reason a booster may be needed is if virus variants develop that can evade our immune protection from the original vaccinations. Now finally, Carol asks, we had the virus recently and tested positive on March 27th, but have been symptom-free for almost 2 weeks. When can I get the vaccine? I've heard it's 90 days from positive test. Do I have to get a negative test before I get the shot? So Carol, you do not need a negative test before getting vaccinated, and you no longer need to wait 90 days from the time of your infection to get vaccinated. As soon as you are out of isolation, go get the shot. Back to you.
A lot of good questions. Just keep coming in, keep them coming, and Dr. McGeorge will keep working on them. All right, Frank.
Many who stand against the 39 election bills proposed by state Republicans raised their voices in Lansing today. The controversial package of bills is seen by many as an effort to suppress the vote by, among other things, requiring more forms of ID and making it tougher to vote absentee. Priya Mann takes us through the arguments made today on both sides. Priya.
Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, Detroit City Clerk Janice Winfrey, and mayors from across the state were in Lansing today voicing opposition to Republican-sponsored election bills.
And it's no way in hell that we will stand by and allow these bills to be passed.
On the steps of the state capitol, elected officials denounced a group of GOP-sponsored election bills.
I was elected the first African-American mayor there in 2019. And laws like this would have stopped me from being here today.
Democrats, as well as dozens of corporate leaders across Michigan, say the bills amount to voter suppression.
This 39 bill package is un-American and laced with racism.
An attempt to suppress the vote and change the will of the people by oppression through legislation.
The communications director for the Michigan Republican Party accused Democrats of playing the race card.
The efforts that we're trying to implement make it easier to vote and harder to cheat.
Every court case saying that there was fraud in the last election was struck down by a judge. So what is the legitimate concern about cheating?
Polling shows that voters overwhelmingly support voter ID, including the black community.
I know black people that went to vote didn't see no dead people in line with them, right? So
I'm more concerned with outing the motivation for doing it, because they're being disingenuous if it's about making our elections safer. What is important now that wasn't important last year? And I'll tell you what it was: losing an election.
And it's more than likely these bills will pass the legislature, which is controlled by the GOP. But today, in an interview with the Washington Post, Governor Whitmer said if those bills come across her desk, she will veto them. In Lansing, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, Priya, we've got more to come here at 6. Don't go away. We'll take a quick break. Back with more in just a minute.